Let me explain this. First of all, I just want to tell you I found my old talus. Oh, I lost it. I lost it. Yes, I lost it. Why am I here? Why are you watching my channel? Why am I showing you a talus? That's not your religion, because you sort of put talus with religion, and I really don't. I'm using it as a hat. It protects me. I look at the frills, I think I'm having a thrill. I look at the four corners, I say it's going to be a square, it's going to be a circle, it's going to be a perfect doorway that I can walk squarely in. Unless only the tallest walk in the center so they can pass the main duct, and then as you get shorter you go off to the side. Why should it be this way? Why should it be a channeling effect? The origins of creation. How everything was built is a sign of the times. And as they were building and saw what had to be done, it was a perfect creation that led the way to tell the exact story of what was going on during creation. And now that we understand today that, hey, you have a leftover piece, you can do something with it. I threw it out. You saw something we can do with it. Where did it come from? Why is it left over? Well, guess what? If we have a point, what are the angles of that point? And why? Because there's a whole story here. There's a whole story onto these angles. Because at one point, they're going to be the angles of above or below what is the core angle. The core angle of all angles to fit anything square is 45 degrees. Is 90 degrees. So what is 45 degrees? What does it do, 45? If I have a 45 degree on this side and 45 degree on that side, what happens here? It means I now have 67.5 degrees if I'm thinking right, because I need to get to that 90 angle. Does that mean I moved over 22.5 this way or 11.125? All of these numbers are telling alternative stories. Now, although I'm not giving you an exact and telling you anything or bringing you anywhere, well, where did you take me? Building of the equation. We're not looking what the answer is. We're just looking how we can understand the equation. Understanding the numbers that are used, the numbers that are left over, that it created when leaving over a balance. I'm just going to put this down over here and show you what I'm talking about. That if you have a point, right, this here, well, the angle towards here, okay, the angle towards here or the angle towards there is, I used a 45 degree angle over a 90 degree angle and a 45 degree angle. So now what is the angle between here and here? Is the question, is it square? Yes, it is. But what happens if I went at half that angle and went at 22.5 on each side? What would be my distance from here to here? I'm still learning, so just give me a second to figure it out. So now working with this, we have A, we have O, we have R, we have another R, we have full rotation. I'm not really sure what that is, but we do know that if I have a straight line right over here, right? Or if I have a straight line over here, am I taking my angle from this point here, right? And let's say, what am I doing? Is the angle, can I do this and start over here and say, what's my angle from here to here? Or can I say, here's the point I begin with, right? And, well, here's the straight line. I got to begin somewhere. Here's a straight line. It's going down here. So what's that difference over here? It's two answers. If I want to go around in a circle, it's 135 degrees. If I want to come down from the 180 degree line, right, it's 45 degrees. If I want to come down from the split line over here, right, all the way down to over here compared to, right, actually all the way down to over here, is that 135 degrees? Because the balance would be 200 and 25 degrees coming all the way around to here. This is the angle of negative, negative. If we were to work in positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, negative. Now, I don't know how this works. I just know everything I learned. I also know to work with letters. Will we soar? Can I use, what word can I get out of the first initials? And then we have to understand our gaps. And then we can use these as temperature, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 360 degrees. I don't even like to mark this all over because it doesn't make the paper perfect. And if you want to see more of this, I think I'm going to do I should do a live, but I shouldn't, you know, I don't know. So we're going to go like this. We're going to go 45 degrees. Now, since we can go 45 degrees, I can half that at 22.5 degrees, right? And I can also half that if I want, but it's too hard, so I'm going to go 67.5 degrees. And then once this is done, I'm going to know that over here, I'm going to have 315 degrees. I know the sun is split. This will say SUN. It'll also say CAD. I also know the cube in the E world. I also know 51 is Mars. And I also know that 15 is 3/4 of a period in hockey. I know that it's 1/4 of a football period. So after we go to this, we end up with 90 degrees. Now, these are our basics. Now, if I want to start adding up and going to 157.5 degrees, right now I know I'm going to be coming into the moon and connecting to Mars. This is 157.5 degrees. 7557 is electric and it is moon. 15 is 1/4. 17 is your gateway. 55 is your pass. So when we get this, I automatically get 202.5. That'll give me 360 degrees because they've already given us the tools on what to work with. And there's also 225 degrees. And that's this area here. Now, the thing about 225 degrees is if you go to the left and to the right, you're going to get 260 degrees, leaving you 144 degrees, right? 144, 216. You know that the minutes in a day are 1440 and the moon diameter is 2116. They come together. Now, what is this? This is also my birth. And it's my birth for the reason of what is 9, right? Day of creation. Day equals to 24 hours. Day of creation. I should have put the day with it. It's also the dividing gate. 2 times 4, 2 plus 4, 8 and 6. It's the house planet. 24 is noted to be the cat. 9 times 24, the 9th planet is Pluto, equals to 2116 times the mirror of the house. A, B, C, D, creating that mirror. After the death, before the Christ, into the house we are born. Either we count A, B, C equaling to 6, or it's B, C, D equaling to 9. We don't count them both. If you want to see what happens when we count them both in A, B, C, D, right, then we're going to go A, B, C, D equals to what is J, like in Jesus, right? Jesus, John, why is it there? Because it's 1, right, in a completed world. 1 circle. 1 circle, 1 completed world. 2 circles, the house of Bait. 3 circles, we have Earth. 4 circles, we have Mars. And then J equals to 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. We flipped over to the other side. It becomes the half-life. Now, is 20 the whole life or is 30 the whole life? Because 10 goes between 20 as noted inside of this, because it's 2 things. Both 10 will actually tell us about Earth and our birth, right? But 20 is going to tell us 2 stories. It's going to tell us about Mars, and it's also going to tell us where 1 fits between 2. Now 10 is actually telling me about two of these dots. Each one of these dots is worth 5. So we have 4 and we have 2, we have 10, 20. Where do we get 30? 6 by 5. Here we have 6 times 5. Here we have 2 times 5, and here we have 4 times 5. And then we're going to go 4 plus 5, and then we're going to go 6 plus 5, and then we're going to go 2 plus 5. And I don't like the way everything is on top of each other. Just give me a second. Now in that basis of this, 8, 5, and 2. 2, 5, and 8 born onto the cross. 20, 30, 60, the 60 seconds on the clock. But what happens in the half-life, right? It's either like this. It's either ABC, like I showed you below, ABC, or BCD. And what you're leaving out in one of each one is A and D, is what you leave out. You're leaving out A and D, and that A and D, 1 times 4, 1 plus 4, equals to 5 and 4, 9. So now what you're leaving out will recreate this house over here. At the same time, in both houses, you have B and C. So in both houses, here you end up with 5 and 4 to the multiplication. And in the BC house, you end up with 6 and 5. 4 and 5 and 6 and 5. And then from bringing it together into 10, which fits in the center of everything, now you get your gateway. 1 and 7, or 10 and 7. And that 10 and 7 is the only way to do it is A, B, C, D. And in French, right, in French, when you say 17, 18, or 19, you're going to say 10, 7, 10, 8, 10, 9. Now, is it 10, 7 minus equals 3? C? Is it 10 minus 8 equals 2? B? Or is it 10 minus 9 equals A1? Now, when you get to number 17, you're going to match that up with, you're going to match that up. Sorry, I just want to get this. It always gets to be a mess, right? So I'm just going to jig it up over here, right? When you get to 17, you also have 34, 51, 68. When you get to 18, you have 36, 54, 72. And when you get to 19, you have 38, you have 57, and you have 76. Earth and Mars in the house of bait. Earth and Mars, the gateway in Venus. Between Neptune and Saturn. And what is in between there? Uranus. The divided gates. Earth and Mars, well, Earth is number 6. And now to get on where I left off, I was on a phone call, took 20 minutes of my time, so I'm not actually in full sync right now. So what I'm going to tell you between 17, 18, 19, and where I put these figures over here. What is 17 is the end result when you get to this area over here before the mirror, before we get to the divided gate in the house of Earth and Mars, through what is Saturn and Uranus, living amongst the heavens of Neptune. Perhaps Neptune, the waters, the basin, are connecting the two sides of the house. Here's one side of the house, here's the other side of the house. This side of the house is Earth. This side of the house is Mars. Over here is Neptune. And all the houses are what is Venus or Venus. Venus, Venus or Venus. Being divided up in Venus. The aiguë house and the grave house. A and G, 17. 17, 34. In the democratic blue house, in the cold house. The 18 is going to be the rotation. It's the halfway house to the completion of its first circle, 1.5 circles. We get to 1.5 circles, 1.5, the numeric value for putting Mars in quarters, the quarter house of Mars, part of the Sun's systems. 54, 1 times 4, 1 plus 4. At home in the house of Bate, Venus at the gateway of the spirit creation. That 1 and here plays a role inside of here. 2 times 4, 2 plus 4. When we go over to 19, we're going to call this one the golden moon house. Moon gold. We are the precious metal. Moon gold rotation. We also have silver in the house by mixing the gold inside the moon. When these two numbers come together, 8 and 3 is also monkey. 6 and 3 will create what is 2 and 7. And 1 and 8 will create what is 7 and 2. 1 plus 8, 1 times 8, 9 and 8. 9 times 8, 72. 1 times 7, 1 plus 7 will be 8 and 7, 15. Now, can 19 recreate any of these? It's only going to recreate itself. 1 times 9, what plus 9? This will be the sun, and this is going to be Mars. None of this is because of what I want. 105, the hand of God. 108, 18, the heavens of the sun birth. 1 and 8, 10 and 8, the heavens of J, the inverted worlds. The French say it, and it's the reverse of A, B, C. A is the moon, which divides us all. B is inside Venus, time heaven, and C, our creation at the 7th gate through Mars. None of what I choose to say is because I thought about it, and I did. None of what I choose to say is because I want it to be, and in some likelihood I do. Otherwise I wouldn't say it. But I say it because that's what I see. Perhaps I'm not using the right words. Perhaps I'm a little slightly off. But I'm 100% sure that in regular alphabet, M-A-R-S is a total of 19. I know the reverse of Mars is moon. What does that mean? That it's the cap that comes together. The moon on one side, Mars on the other side of the moon. The moon and Mars. Or maybe it's made up of 3 planets. Imagine if all planets were made up of 3 planets, like Mars, the moon, Saturn, Venus, and just put them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then make it look like this. So then where would be 7, 8, and 9? Maybe on the inside is the 7th gate. It rotates 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, rotating 6 by 1, equaling to 7. The 7 is rotating all 9s and rotating 8. 7 and 8 is the center of the center, the holy place. 88. There are 26 cubes, and every cube has 6 sides, and every cube has 21 dots. 21 times 21 dots times 26 cubes, 546. FED, DEF, the Federation, 20% of 5 is 4 or 6. Take it to the face of the calculator, giving you all the numbers that go along with all the positions. And then everything can change. There's a magic trick going on here. But it's slow, and I'll explain it to you. If you want to go into the 2 house, then 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. 2 times 5 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. 2 times 6 is 12, 1 and 2 is 3. So you now got 13 instead of 12. It's 13. 2 times 7 is 14. See, we got 12 over here, made 3. 2 times 7 is 14, 1 and 4 is 5. 2 times 8 is 16, 1 and 6 is 7. 2 times 9 is 18, 1 and 8 is 9. You had 8 where 4 was, and that's where Pluto comes in. That's where your mirror comes in. You have 5 and 2, which is Earth coming from 7, which is 8 and 8 is 16. 1 and 6 is 7. You're now connected 1 and 6. There are so many stories I don't want to linger on. I want to bring it up to the last part, and it might have been the first part, is what is the dog, the body, the am, and the spirit. The cat and the dog, the soul and the spirit. Cat, 3 times 8, 24. Cat, 4 times 8 is 32. There are 7 over here. The total is 56. Well, that number, 65 or 56, I want to fall to the ground. It's created by 1 times 5, 1 plus 5 will equal to what is 6 and 5, 11 and 30, equaling to what is 41. 11 came into 9. This will then equal to 5 and 4, will then equal to 2 and 9. And then it will equal into 18 and 11, bringing you back to your last 2 and 9. Creation, the high creation. 1 times 8, 1 plus 8. 1 times 1, 1 plus 1 is 1 and 2. So this is your 17 great way creation. 3 by 17, we are born into Mars. 3 by 8, the 24-hour day of the divided house of the cat. When we look at dog, chien, 4 letters, 7 letters. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 letters for the dog, 7 letters for the cat. In French and English, because of the house we live. 56, 65 is also going to be the horse. It brings on the home. It also brings on 11. It is the only 11 you can get. It is the only 11 you can get on the cube. There is no 7 until the house is connected, until the touchdown. 20 and 4, or 20 and 4, let me see this again. TD, 20 and 4, or 7 and 23. I have to create 27 for the alphabet, rules and regulations, and where I'm going to go to create the form to the skeleton, understanding how the dimensions work and why they're put together this way. What I'm doing is I'm using all the information that I was given to the creation of my father, from my father's creation. I have to call the person or whatever the entity is my father. Should I call it my mother? I was created in the mirror. I was of the mirror image. There was my father, and then there was somehow 3 of me. Everything has to do with 3 of me. Does that mean it's 1 of me? Is it just 1 of me and 1 of you in the mirror of us two? And then the base that connects us together to the stream of all of us, universal angels. Although we're all coming from the same mold at a different time, but what would be the difference in time is the thought this creation was happening. Were there different levels of who we are? Now, the levels of who we are, at how many were before they started to just go? Were there just 3 levels? And then the 3 made 1 each. We had 6, and then the 6 made 1 each, another 6, and that's 12. You will begin now. Let's call the name of this 5 billion years ago. That's what we're going to call the game, 5 billion years ago. So when you tell everybody the story, you go 5 billion years ago. And in the game that you created the game called life. And you were going to create the perfect world. Since you were creating, you're the motherboard. How are you the motherboard? You're the motherboard creating man. You're the motherboard creating man. Why man? Man is for the 28-day cycle. Man is for the TH. It is for the time heaven. It is for what is the mirror world between 4 and before you flip back again at 19. So you're 4 through 18, okay, in the mirror world. 4 or 4th through 18th in the mirror world. In the mirror world of IT. And then once you get to 19th, right, you flip back again. So you're now being encompassed. You need to be encompassed. So 19th and 20th, right? 19th, 20th. The birth comes in 20. And it is the first and last of what is the beginning of the next range, the flip-flap. we switch. At 10, we switch. With 1, we go black. At 19, we go red. 1 and 9 is 10. At 28, 2 and 8 is 10, we go black. 1 and 9 is odd. 2 and 8 is even. 1 and 0 is not even, telling me possibly that 0 is an odd number, because you have to come from to go out to from 0. Doesn't matter which direction. The house might be the negative house. I don't know what house of power. 77 is power to the 4 houses of the 7th gate. Jesus Christ, 74 and 77 come out the same way. We can either get GG or we can get GD, 77. We can also get, when we get 77, oh yes, that's the other thing. We're also getting 2020, right? We get 2020. And then we get GG. And when we get 5, right? When we get E5, we get 22 and 5, because that's the VEG. That is the ETVG. The VET. You want to call it the VET. You want to call it TET. You want to call it the summer house. Anyways, and the reason for that is the reverse alphabet. And at the same time, we have something that is joined together freely, and that is the M and the N. They are the center of the alphabet, LMNO, LMNO, the center, the LMNO, and the YZAB. Noted, right? Noted that when you add up the alphabet all the way to X, in which completes, right, in which completes the inverted alphabet reflection. Just give me 1 second. What that means is, when you count, you want to get a 9 count. And the minute you get to 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. So you sort of flipped over to the other side, right? So when you get to what is M and N, the M is the 13th letter. And the 14th letter is the N. Now the alphabet counts from A1 to M13, from N14 to 26Z. So if you would put Z first, then N would be 14th. So, sorry, 13th. And if you would put M first, then if you would put M first, hold on a second. And then A would be 13th. So you would end up like this. You would end up with Z 26 and 1 or 1 and 8. You end up with here, this, right? N and M, like New Mexico. Here you would end up with M13 and 14. That would be, well, they're both 27, so I put 1 and 8, right? The total here, okay, 1 plus 26 equals to 27. When you do this over here, you do 13 plus 14 equals to 27, right? But over here, you see the 1 and you see the 8. You have 1, 2, 6 also, which shows up, and 2160 is the 9 by 24 birth cycle through the moon, right? The circumference here of the moon, or the diameter, which is the diameter of 2160 miles, the moon, which is 1.5 times the 1440 of the day, 1440 minutes of the day. In this one over here, right, you're going to get 5 and 4, and that's going to be a reflective of the sun that connects both sides, and you're connecting both sides by 12 and 13, because when you start at A and B, 1 and 2, right, and you end at L, sorry, just give me a second. When you go from AB to LM, what you have over here is you're going to have G, okay? You're going to have G. And then what you do over here is you have 1 and 2, you have 7, right? And then you have what is 12 and 13, okay? Now, also, I like to go 1, 2, 7, 3, and 4. And the reason for this is because 1 and 2 is 3, and 1 and 3 is 4. There it is, right? And the reason for this is because this is the first half of your alphabet. And what happens next is you're going to go N, L, M, N, O, right? And then you're going to come up to what is T. And then you're going to go out and you're going to do Y and Z. We also have to note that there's other factors happening here that are happening at S19, because with numbers, okay, what happens in S19 is that this is 10 and 9 equaling to also what is 19, okay, or 1. 1A and S coming together. It is the TH family. It is the 19th. And noted, as I said before, we go from 4th in the TH family all the way to 20 IETH, and where over here we have 19th over here. So we're showing that the birth is coming into Venus. We have 20, which means we have 10 in order to get it. So we have now entered into the first houses, 17, 18, and 19, the moon, sun, and Mars. We have not entered or touched number 13. Did we touch number 13? Did we touch 13? Yes, we touched 13th. We touched it for the second time, right over here, right? 13th, 1 and 3 equals to 4. We have to remember that, because 13th is unlike what 12 is, right? Even though we're going to finish with this, we finish here with ETH. 13 finishes with an N, 12 finishing with an E. 1 does the same thing. 2, 3, 4. A 2 finishes with an O. 3 finishes with an E. 4 finishes with an R. 5 finishes with an E. And I'm going to 6, 7, 8, 9 finishes with an E. So I also can get into this revelation now. But what happens with 12 is it's 1 and 2 equals to 3. We have not converted yet. Our first conversion is at 13, because 1 and 3 becomes the 4. And if you note that 4 is opposite of the 3. It's your first conversion, as well to understanding the ABCD, or 1, 2, 3, 4 added up, equals to 10. 1 plus 0 equals to 1. So when we start counting this, we're going to start counting 2, 4, 6, 8. This is the way to keep the dark one. If we want to keep the red one, we would be using 1, hold on a second, we'd be using 1, 3, 5, and 7. Unless you go into the 5th house, because 5 times 2 will equal to 10. And that'll make it dark. It'll make it 5 times 2. If it goes 2 times 5, this is going to be red. If you go 5 times 2, this is going to be black. And the reason for that is because I'm using the even numbers. Here I'm using the odd numbers. This is your ABCD coming together. Either you're using CD or AB, but together we join at BC. So if we had to put this hat, where are we going to put that hat? Is it because it's on the E world? Is that the way the E is? Where are the hats used? Because the story is inside this reality over here. So when we do this ABC thing at 13, right? We do ABC and it equals to 6, or how about the 60 seconds on the clock other than BCD, which equals to 9, or the 90 seconds, the 1.5 difference in this over here. This is where Pluto begins, in the 9th house, to our basic creation of 6 and 3, the divided gate of alpha beta, where now when we have 12 coming in its own, this is its first creation, all in one word. 12 is its first creation, female. 13 becomes the opposite, or the cap of it, becomes a 13, And that becomes when you're using both houses. In the male house, you're using both houses. Does that mean the male is for the plug-in? How did the male plug in to this house? Was it a plug-in like this where we had, and these two wires, I'm just trying to think, come together? Right? Does it become the Y? Remember, there's two things that I have to always look at, and it's this. Yo, yo, yo. This is both Mars and Earth coming together. The blue eyes, and then the dark sun bodies. Bringing in the oceans bringing in communication touching on what is the cat, the divided gates. We know that's in the moon. We're going to figure it out. 4 times 8, 32. 3 times 8, 24. They both fit into each other. One is 3 parts of 8. The other is 4 parts of 8. Together they make 7 parts of what? Of 16? Or do they make 7 parts of 8? I'm adding them together. The total is 56, 65. It's the only 11. The inverted to this of 5 and 6 is what is 1. And what is 5 is 2. 5 chops everything in half, and 2 doubles it up. I also spoke about moving numbers a while ago. I'm going to get back to the dog and the cat, and I can move all these numbers over. But before I went with 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Then if I wanted to go, I'm going to go with 4, 8, 3, 2, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, and 9. The next one I'm going to go 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4, 9. The next one I'm going to go 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2, 9. Next one I'm going to go, it's pretty simple, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 9. And then this one will be 12, and then this one will be 12, and then this one will be 21, and then this, we're not going to do these over here. And then this one, okay, is going to be 15, and then this one's going to be 15, and then this one's going to be 15, and then this one's going to be 12, and this one's going to be 12, and this one's going to be 13, 8, 21, and then this one's going to be 15, and this one's going to be 15, and this is going to be 15, and this is going to be 24, and this one is going to be 21, and 2, 6, 15, and then 2, 3, 9, 12, and this one's going to be 21, 12, 12, 21. And this is no magic trick. In this house over here, I went ahead and took the alpha house and I multiplied it by 2. And in this one here, I multiplied it by 4. And in this one here, I multiplied it by 5. And in this one here, I multiplied it by 7. And in this one here, I multiplied it by 8. And this is no trick or guess either. If you notice, I didn't do 3, 6, or 9. Because in 3, 6, 9, I get 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, and 3, 6, 9. In number 6, I get 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9. And in the 9th house, I get 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. And I know it's the TV. I know it's the TV because the TVs all look like number 52 Earth. And I find that in the movie of Re, 23, Boot, 30, just like in the moon, and this is 22 or 2002. I like to say something about Mickey Mouse at this time. I don't know what it was. This is where your 2020 comes in. 22 plus 30 is 52. The total is 75. 5G TV. Why do we get 5G TV? Here we have a 5. Here we have a G. The reverse alphabet of G is 20 or T. The reverse of 5 is what is V, 22. So we have 5G TV 2022, 222 in the halfway house creation. Every one of these is going to tell an alternative story if I want to multiply them, if I want to compare them to the others. Should I bring in, since I have the 9 houses, right? If I brought in 2 and 9, I already know 9 what it's telling me. If I bring in 3 with one of these, and I add 3 on and 6 on and 9 on, what will be the change of story? Well, let's try what this is. This will be 3, 6, 9. Let's just change it. So this will be 5, 1, 6. And this one will be 2, 7, 3. And this one will be 8, 1, 8, 4, 9. So now let's see if this works out. What we did to this by adding 3, 6, 9 is we turned in this house as 1. Let's see if we can mark them all off, right? Let's see if we can do them all. 1, and then we'd end up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at that. A perfect switch. And then the answers to all of these will be 5, 6, and 6, 12. Will be 2, 7, 9, and 3, 12. Will be 8 and 4 is 12, 21. If I did the same thing to this box over here, just adding on 3, 6, 9, or how about 6, 3, 9? What would happen with 6, 3, 9? What if I did this at 6, 3, 9, right? This will be 8. This one will be 5. And this one will be a 2. And this one will be, I think it's the same. Okay, whoop, did I do that right? Yeah. Okay, and then this one over here is going to be a 7. And then this one will be a 4. And then this one will be a 1. And then this one over here is going to remain 6, 3, 9. So when I do that, I get 8 and 7 is 15, and 6 is 21. And then I get 5 and 4, 9, and 3 is 12. And then I get 2 and 1 and 9 is 12. And I get 5, 12, and here I get 21. So it was an exact shift all the same. So here I have 1, 4, 7. Here I have 2, 5, 8. And here I have 3, 6, 9. So I've used up all the numbers perfectly. It gave me these answers. These are all obligations. And when I put these numbers towards other numbers, let me explain to you. It's going to make some artwork. It's going to tell you a story by connecting a few lines on here. There's 4 rows because in the 4th row, okay, we reconnect. We go 1 row, 2 row, 3 rows, okay, and we reconnect. And then we go the other way because the 4th is the mirror. Or do we go 4 rows and then we mirror the whole thing? Or do we, and we can twist it. Okay, we twist it. Where do we twist it? Okay, we twist it where the 14 and the 23 come out. AD and BC. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. If I went back to the cat and the dog before I end the video because I didn't finish with this, I just want to show you that over here what happens with the dog in French and with English It's 26 and 39. 2 times 13, 3 times 13, right? How can we bring this together, right? This is 1/2, right? But 1/2 can also be 2 and 4. But this is only one part of the dividing gate. That means I need twice this in order for these numbers to come in. That means I must work with 4. I don't work with 2, I work with 4. So 2 and 4 divides the cat house. 26 towards the cat house, 2 and 4. This becomes the angel number, becomes 3/4 of what is 52 for the 52 house we live in. The spirit at the 7th gate. The total is 65. The total is 56. This is the cat and this is the dog, 56, 65. The only 11s that come in the inverted 1, 2 to the 7th gate. The 1 inverts the 6, the 5 inverts the 2. We didn't go along with all our degrees and what negative house we're in. And if you want to work on the 32 degrees or 35 degrees, is that the beginning of a number, the end? I didn't think of that yet. The other thing I wanted to tell you about this, and I brought it up before, which brought up 216, which is the moon and your birth, 9/24. And it also brings up 234, which is, I think, is the Katun of the Mayans. Katun. So 234 and what is it? 234 and 56. I always thought it was 666. Just trying to think why. 432 and 666 be 891. 234 and 666 would be 198. Shall we said, or was it 66? 2, 3, 4, and 66. Yes, I think that's what it was, right? So we get 0, 0, 3. Now what I need over here is another 60 degrees. Why I say 666, right, is this is 0. 6 and 3 is 9, carry the 0, 0, and 1 is 90. It gives me my 90 degrees. This one over here, the 666. This is all around the 225 angle I was talking about before, which is half of 45. That 45 angle, the sun, the angle in the sun passage is on that 45 degree angle. The timeline is, we have the 23.5 tilt with the numeric value for time, energy, etc., and a few other things. Our number 47 will also be walk and bull, right? 891, right? The heaven's birth of the half-life. 6 is that half-life. We need 12 for the whole life, just as like the zodiac signs. 48 and 4. 4 times 12 plus 4. Adding on the kings in the deck of cards, or the aces. And the aces in blackjack counted 11. We'd end up with 44. Anyways, not to say or 4. Or 1, right, per ace, or 1404, whichever way you want to look at it. 26 by 54, I think that is. But anyways, this 234, I think the calculation is times 8. Is 1872, right? 234 by 8. 1872, whatever, is Katun time in the Mayans. I forget what it means, but this number divided by 144, is 13. Is 13. I think that's what the number was, right? 13, let me see, right. 13 times 144, whatever, 1440, right? That'd be 2 touchdowns before you kick the next extra point, right? What does the point mean? I think that was number 74. So we're going to get the energy and Jesus. Here we got 202.5. If I want to look at it, okay, that this number could be 2025. That's the year we're in right now. This is talking about the electric moon, the D17. This is the electric moon. This is Mars coming in. This is the gateway I'm just trying to think for 88 to match up and Earth to match up, because both 88 and 52 will create this in their equation. Pretty simple, that 5 times 2 is 10. 5 plus 2 is 7, and 10 creates that 17. Your 55 is your sky pass. This is what happens over here, and then I think it's 25,920 divided by 234 equals to, let me see this, 234 times 110 equals 25,740. I'm 180 degrees from 2920. And that might count in this equation. Sometimes we're missing numbers, and there's got to be a reason. So when I come close, I have to ask myself that question. 57 is the moon, 24 the divided gate, or 42. 75 is electric company, 72 is the house, 52 is now Earth in your gateway of 5 and 4 of the sun, of what is the E world, to the Venus house split in Jupiter, the Jew splitting the house, the Jew, the energy. 7 is the man's that has been created. So to get back to the dog and the cat, we have 7 letters, we have 8 letters, we have 3 and 8 coming together, telling me about monkey out of the dog. We have 6 and 5 coming together, 6 and 5, let me see this, 6 and 5, okay, born in the E world, and this is telling me 5. Oh, it's telling me the same. No, it's telling me 3 and 8. This is telling me 6 and 5. This is telling me 5 and 6. This is telling me 7 and 4. So we get time and energy. This is telling me 9 and 2. The IT system of the sun. This one's telling me 8 and 3, telling me about the monkey. Just trying to see. Then there's the mathematics that go along. This will create 11 and 14. This one will create 20. And this one will create the same 39. But since this goes over, I can reduce it to 12. This went over these two go over the top, so I can possibly reverse that to 12. And then take a look again at what this is doing. 2, 5, 2, 3. 2, 5 over here, and 2, 3 over here. So 2, 5 equals to 7. And this one's going to be 3, 2. Equals to 5. That's absolutely perfect. That's absolutely perfect. That'll fit in my electric moon. 5775, for those who don't know, will end up, if I multiply it by 13 for the 13 moons of creation, we end up with 75,075. This will end up to be 47, and then 28, 11, 17. 4 by 7, 28. 4 plus 7, 11. 11 minus 28 equals to 17 or equals to 39. The angels of your 13, 13, 13 creation. Right on here, your 13 creation. 5 and 8, 4 and 9, 7 and 6. Unless you want to just see hand movements. 1 and 6 or 4 and 9. Which one? 6 and 7 or 4 and 3. Which one? 2 and 5, 7 to 8 and 5, 13. The Mayan gearage comes together right over here. Everything is brought together. The truth is the truth, is the truth, is the truth. We were created, bonded to the web. That every breath you take, if you want to stay living and needing to breathe, then you can never leave. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. Thank you for watching.